Marvin Adler, and on deck is Rosary Leota Adler.
A 53-year resident of Suffolk County, have never received a ticket. I am one of those 95%ers that got it for stopping 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds, the private driveway. I'm going to repeat, private driveway. I'm here today to tell you that I got the notice and it's incorrect. It has the wrong information on it. So I went through the appeals process. Someone just said that you're supposed to be treated in a courteous manner. Ask some of the people who were there that day with me. This fella who's running the judicial system, he doesn't even have a name tag. He doesn't want you to know who he is. I asked the police officer, who is he? Oh, we can't tell you. What is this here? You can't even know his name? So I could go to my legislator and say, Tom, I went before the judicial hearing officer and he doesn't have a name? So he said, out. He threw me out. Because my wife is on the license also. But we both are on the license, so the attorney for the county lied because he told the judge that he investigated properly. That's a lie. If he had investigated, found that both of us are on the license, and we both should have been allowed to talk. I was the driver of the vehicle. I was the one. My wife didn't even know what was going on. So then they let me back in, and I explained something. And he said, I said, okay. So I went out, and I tried to pay for the ticket at the window with my credit card. We don't take credit cards. It says in the paper they take credit cards. It also says in the law that the location is supposed to be accurate. So, with the help of Tom's office, I tried to contact this bureaucracy that you're talking about, that Legislator Browning is going to have a hearing about. They don't respond. They didn't respond to Tom's office. They don't respond to me. So I called Xerox. Xerox cannot even pronounce the names of the streets where the alleged violation took place. Okay? So I said, I want to appeal even though I paid, and she said, you have to get a lawyer. I said, why do I need a lawyer? I have represented the school district, unions, and individual people in the courts of Suffolk County, and I'm not a lawyer. No judge has ever thrown me out. Now I'm ready for questions.
Yeah, this is something, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this is something that I've also heard, that in order to appeal, or in order to argue your ticket, that you need to have a lawyer present or something like that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. You should be able to represent yourself. But I'm wondering, you said that you stopped for a couple of seconds?
You can look at the video.
Well, that's exactly where I was going with this question. I'm not sure if we could, you have the notice there with you. If we could share it, and maybe we can take a quick look at the video and see what it actually looks like.
I'm not questioning that. I'm not here to question that. I got the ticket, I paid it.
Okay.
The process is more important to me.
Gotcha.
And that's what I think you're here for, the process.
All right.
You heard the AAA guy, 3A guy, talk about the process. You heard Hector talk about the process. Wait till you hear from some of the other people. This person, who's called a judicial hearing officer, should be fired. He is not a proper representative of you.
That's exactly
The police who were working there, or the court officers, I think were embarrassed by him. So it's not the issue of what I did or didn't do, okay? And it's not the big deal about the $80. I'm entitled to the process. I served my country for that process. This guy, I tell you, never should be in a judicial hearing officer. He just can't do it. And you know what he told us, and the other people who verified? He complained how many tickets his family got. Who cares? Who cares how many tickets you and your family got? You're supposed to be here adjudicating, giving a proper sense to what's going on.
Thank you.
and not to let me talk, even though I was on the license, and that assistant attorney, county attorney lied when he said he investigated. I'm on the license, and I'm the driver. So my poor wife had to come up. She said, Judge, I don't know what's going on here. I just came to accompany my wife. Then he finally let me back in, and he would not let me talk. He said, guilty. I said, okay, I'll pay it. I'll go outside and pay it. Here's my credit card. No, we don't take credit cards. It says so right on the paper they take credit card. You got to make up your mind. The process is way out of whack. With all due respect to the legislative rounding, the process is way out of whack.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you, sir.
I'll answer any questions you have.
Legislator Bradley, did you?
Which is why you're not the first person that made complaints, and I am addressing that. I know that Tuesday's an election day, and everybody's, you know, I'm not using this. I refuse to do this in a political way. If that department and that office is not acting appropriately, and I have had meetings in the past, and I will continue, and again, they will be here on the 12th. You are welcome to come, and I think it's important for them to hear your experience in the court, in that building. You should not be treated like that. No one should be treated like that.
Yesterday in the paper, a person who was charged with a crime, an actual crime, was given more opportunity to get off and eventually was eliminated than I was, for which is not even a ticket on your license. And you should be able to go to the next step if this so-called judicial officer is not working properly. You should be able to go to the next step, as far as that's concerned.
Legislator Miracle, you have a question?
Yes, first of all, thank you, Mr. Adler, for coming. You know, you're very active in the community. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you to everybody else for coming. Just to go back, when did you get this thing? Was this back in 2010 that you received this?
No.
RedLightScam?
This is dated, the citation is dated August 3rd, 2015.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm not claiming that I didn't do what
No, we know
the
that, and that's why
chose.
we're here.
Yeah.
Because we want to do what you want to do. We want to make it right.
Yes.
We want to do what AAA wants to do. We want to make it right. We want to do what Mr. Ruth wants. We want to make it right.
The vendor should be required to put the right names of the streets, and if they don't know it, they shouldn't put the camera at a private intersection.
That's our purpose
That
here.
light belongs to the shopping center, because I called the New York State Department of Transportation, and they cannot coordinate those lights in center each, because that's a private light, and the other two are public lights. So again, there's another bureaucratic mess that they let someone in. And everybody goes into that shopping center, slows down. Nobody. I've stood there, for a half hour at a time and watched people going in to shop. And they're going to the post office where I was going, and we had just come back from a friend's very serious illness in Florida, and so we went to get our mail. And that's not the issue. The issue is that when you go for an appeal, the judicial hearing officer should act appropriately. And I have experience knowing what a judge should act like. My son is an attorney in Houston, and I frequently go to visit him, and I sit in the courtroom and I see how judges behave with real criminals. And this guy couldn't shine their boots, so to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Adler, and I encourage you to come to the public hearing on the 12th that Legislator Bradley will be chairing. Thank you. Rosemary, did you?
Yes, good afternoon. I accompanied my husband because from there we were going to Jersey to visit my son. And it's a good thing I did because he called me by name and he was saying that I own the car. Well, I own half of the car. And because it's under both of our names. Anyway, I told him that I wasn't in the car when this happened, and my husband started talking. He was very, very nasty. He had no respect for women at all. And like my husband said, he was mentioning that his children have tickets, and it's good to get a ticket because this way you learn, he kept saying. And finally, he realized that it was my husband and I had nothing to do with this. But before that, they were showing me papers, they showed me on the camera, the car and all. Yes, that was my car, but I wasn't there. I had no knowledge of this, just that my husband got a ticket. So they should have a lot more respect for people, not only women, but men also.
Thank you very much.